Hi guys, this is Orange Garcia of the OLPMC community. I just want to say happy Friday to you guys. We're not only are we in the new year right now, but we're starting a new series called Vitamin Competence. We just finished with Vitamin Calling and we're going to start with Vitamin Competence. And what's it's going to be all about? Well, technically it's this. Life never gives you a problem that you can never handle, right? In Filipinos love that. Hindi ka bibigyan ng problema ng buhay nang di mo kakayanin. But in every burden, we talked about that, burden to blessings, but in every burden or every blessing, if life won't give you a burden or a challenge, a problem you can't handle, it will not give you a blessing that you cannot manage either. So if you want a full life, if you want a life full of happiness, of joy, in terms of wealth, in terms of all areas of your life, may it be finances, may it be relationships, may it be your career, profession, your business, right? You have to be able to be competent, again, competent to manage those blessings. Because if you show and prove that you could manage those blessings, life will give you more. Life will give you more blessings to manage, right? So that's really it. That's very important to see, to remember. That's why vitamin competence is very important. For you guys wondering, what is competence? Competence is simply this. It is the capability to do things right. When you're given a problem, you have to increase your capability to solve it. When you're given a project, you have to increase your capability to be able to manage and deliver it properly. So with vitamin competence, there are 3 laws that you have to adhere to. There's the law of the harvest, there's the law of the probability or law of probability, and the law of outliers. And that's what we're going to tackle in week in, week out for the rest of January. For today's episode, we're going to tackle the law of the harvest. But before I start, I want to just let everybody in the room with me greet our audiences today, beginning with my smart, sexy, and strong sisters. And then we're gonna introduce you our 2 special guests. I want you guys to be excited for these 2 wonderful leaders, 2 wonderful educators who's gonna join us today for this episode. So, sisters, are you guys ready? Can you say hi to our audiences right now?
Hey!
Welcome back! New series.
Welcome! Fruitful Fridays!
New series, new topic, new guests. We're so grateful for these 2 for joining us and having the courage to be with us today. Let me introduce to you, first of all, Teacher Cathy Macasieb from OLPMC.
Hello everyone, I'm Teacher Cathy. I've been in OLPMC for almost 6 years and I was a former math teacher, but now, luckily, I'm one of the middle school heads.
Yes.
You know what, guys? Yes, you become lucky, but lucky means opportunity meets preparation, and preparation means it's competent. And I just want to honor Teacher Kat. You know, it's not just luck. She was preparing for this moment. She is competent. She built her competence to become the school head of our OPMC intermediate school.
Just for everyone to know, our middle school is our grades 5 to 8. Teacher Cathy is one of our school heads for our levels grades 5 to 8. The next guest, special guest, another smart, sexy, and sassy lady over here, Teacher Marge Vivero, who's our school head for high school. Yes!
Yes, I'm sexy. I accept that. I'll take that as a compliment, even though, or whatever. Okay, so I am Teacher Marge, and I've been with the OLPMC since 2011. I started as an English teacher, and now also an addition to the, what do you call that, title is a school head. And of course, I'm also one of the adopted Garcia siblings. And my name right now is Strawberry Garcia. Good morning.
Pwede, bagay.
For this episode, we're going to tackle the very first law in order to increase your competence, and that is the law of the harvest. It's simply this: what you sow, you will reap. So if you want to be able to reap happiness, you want to reap joy in every area of your life, you have to be able to sow the good habits, the good thoughts, and good actions into it. You reap what you sow. And that's really it. That's the law of the harvest.
So when you sow negative thoughts, you reap losing actions. And when you sow losing actions, you reap habits of destruction. And then, in effect, you sow habits of destruction, where therefore you reap a destiny of failure and misery. With this, everything comes from our powerful mind, our thoughts. It's where everything begins. So it really matters how we feed our thoughts through the things that we watch, the people that we talk to, we surround with, or things that we listen to, the stuff that we go through on social media, of course. If we don't apply filter to it, then it affects the thoughts, and sometimes it triggers negative thoughts, and that it affects our actions, our performance at home, or most especially at work.
As opposed to sowing positive thoughts. When you sow positive thoughts, you reap winning actions. And then when you sow winning actions, you reap habits of champions. And then you sow habits of champions, therefore you reap a destiny of success and happiness. In the classroom, as an educator, this is something that you have to live by every day, even in your personal life, and then you also have to apply it in your professional life. For example, at the beginning of your day, before you get out of your bed, what is your habit? Do you immediately grab your phone and then look for positive things to look at? Or do you immediately look at the news? So what are your thoughts? For me, the day before, I end with, good thoughts. What did I do that were successful? And then the next day, what was something that I want to continue doing the next day? Or is it more like also thinking about how my day will go? And again, you want to sow your positive thoughts. It's like when you write your lesson plan, do you practice in your head how your class will go and move forward during the day? Or do you focus on the student that you're going to have a difficult time with? So if you want to be able to have a successful day, don't you want to think of how the challenging student will be able to overcome a difficult situation? Or what are the words that you're going to use to be able to encourage or motivate this challenged student or a challenging situation that you go through? It's a very powerful exercise every morning. It's like your future self going through your future day already. And at the end of the day, you're going to feel successful.
All right. There you guys have it. You always reap what you sow. So sow positivity and you reap positive results. But here's the thing, as an educator, our mission is mainly on sowing. I don't know if you guys agree with me. You sow and you sow and you sow, and you just hope and you just pray that the child understands your lesson, that the child will use your lesson to make themselves better, to make life better, and hopefully crossing your fingers that when they graduate and when they seize the world and they face the world in front of them, they're going to do it in a great way. So sowing without knowing if you're going to harvest or the good work that you put in and day out as an educator, as a teacher, it takes a lot of confidence. That's really it. Confidence. So here's a nugget for wisdom for you guys, for you to be able to increase your vitamin confidence. Believe in yourself even when others don't. Let me repeat that. Believe in yourself even when others don't. That's my question to our special guests right now, the teacher Marge and the teacher Kath. Guys, was there any moment in your lives that you really felt that the world was against you, at the risk of sounding dramatic, right? Even yourself, you felt that, man, you're losing confidence, but you still moved on, you still moved forward, you still fought your way through. I just wanna learn from you guys, listen and learn from you guys, from your own experiences.
Actually, for me, believing in yourself is one of the most difficult thing to do. Sometimes there are voices in our head saying, you can't do it, you'll never be good enough, and the hardest thing to hear is that you are going to fail. And these voices lead us to self doubt, which loses our confidence in achieving our goals and happiness in our hearts. But just imagine, what if we give it a try? How will things turn out if we believe we can do it and we actually end up doing it? Don't we want to unlock that door and try it? So I've been in OLPMC for almost 6 years, and I enjoy teaching my students because I know this is my passion and this is what I love to do. Never in my life I would imagine that I would be given a big role and responsibility in this community, and I'm very thankful for that. When I knew that I will be one of the middle school heads, I started thinking and questioning my knowledge and abilities. Why? Because I was afraid. I was afraid of what would people say, afraid that nobody would believe in me, and I was afraid of failing as a leader. I realized that failure are part of life and you can stop them from entering your life. I need to trust myself, and to become better, I need to do it step by step. Know my potential, eliminate negativity, be strong, face my fears, and always keep in mind that there are still people who believes in me.
For me, believing in myself, there are two things actually, or two situations that I don't know, it's ironic for one. Okay. The first one is year in, year out, I have to deal with parents, especially the grade 10 parents. When I discuss research, when I discuss certain lessons that it's not actually included in the curriculum, they come in and complain, why do I teach this? Why is there a need for this? And then I would always tell them, okay, I believed in myself during that time. I would always tell them they need this. It's not in the curriculum, but they need this. I would always tell the parents because they would call me, they would come really ambush visit me. But that is the time that I really believed in myself, and I believe that I am doing something good for their students, for their children rather. The second part is when we started with the transition of having segments, that's when I did not believe in myself, but people surrounding me believed in me the most. And they would always tell me, you can do this, you are made for this, but I don't know how to say it, but I didn't believe in myself. The biggest enemy was myself, and I would always tell my students that you don't have any other enemy except yourself. And that was the time that I really, really, really knew that what I was telling my students, I was experiencing it. Because being a school head, it's not easy. You have to deal with a lot of people. When I was just an English teacher, I have to deal with parents, and that's, it's as easy as ABC. I have to deal with students, and that's chicken. Okay, that's very easy for me to do so. But to deal with teachers, with other people who are not really a part of the classroom, it's a different matter. Even when other people told me that you can do this, okay, you're made for this, I myself doubted, okay, my ability, my capability to be a school head. So at the end of the day, when everything was settled and everything was done, we have started with, being a school head. I still thank the people who believed in me, because again, believing in yourself is choosing also who to believe. Okay? When people are talking outside of your comfort zone, they want you to believe this, they want you to choose and decide for this. Choosing to believe in those people who would make you good is also worth fighting for and worth taking the risk for.
From both sharings of Miss Cathy and Miss Marge, you seem to have shared that you did not feel competent once you were chosen for a specific assignment. Was that true?
Yes. It was.
There's a lot to be said about once you've reached a level of accomplishment in your professional life. I think it's also part of our upbringing from our families that affects our belief in ourselves. It depends on the culture of the professional community where you work in. And I'm very glad to hear that you had a lot of support. Even though there were negative thoughts in your head, you were able to overcome them and see your capability. Like what Orange said, you were chosen because he saw that you were competent. And so what we've always, and it happens to me too, you get into a trap of thinking that, can I really do this? And then you have parents questioning you, your integrity, or other teachers questioning your authority, sometimes a student. But then you want to remember that you are the professional here. You've studied for this and you know what you are doing. And so that's the only thinking that you need to be able to drive your instruction with. Because once you face a parent, you have to tell them, I studied this, I know what's good for the students, and I'm choosing the appropriate education or skills and tasks. I'm assigning tasks that I know will move them forward and prepare them to become successful citizens of your community. It's okay. I guess it's okay everyone goes through self-doubt, but definitely we want to be able to get past that. And again, you want to sow your positive thoughts all the time.
Thinking about our teachers and our educators, and our previous topic, which is vitamin calling, and I think they have the most powerful vitamin calling, because this is a passion. Teaching is a passion. So the calling is so strong in our educators and our teachers. And the competence too. So when you think about vitamin competence, this is what they studied. This is the area that they studied. But I guess during the pandemic, even the teachers, especially the teachers and the educators, got really shook, got shaken. And because they had to learn and relearn and unlearn, a lot of things with the new learning environment. And I guess those are the times when you get really tested, And I really appreciate and I love what Teacher Cathy and Teacher Marge said. It's actually the other way around for them. People believed in them, but it was them that really doubted themselves. And I guess that's so important too, that during the times when you start doubting yourself, make sure that you have that voice to say to you and give that little push. Everything has to start with us, but sometimes we just can't, it's so hard to pull ourselves up, and that's when we just really, stretch out a hand and say, I need help. And I love that in our community, that people feel safe, to be that and to do that.
I have a question, because when you think about competence, of course it has something to do with also not the skill set that we have, but part of it is dealing with people, right? If you think of your work, you're really dealing with people. So my question to, anybody here, was there any challenge that you're still facing, that it's hard for you, or it's still triggering some kind of a challenge when you're dealing with some type of people? Because everyone's different. Some people are easy to deal with and some are not. Is there still an area that you think you would want to be able to handle maybe some kind of a conflict or some type of a personality of a person?
For me, it's more closer to home, believe it or not. You know, guys, that I'm a mama's boy.
I didn't know that.
Yes. But, you know, life, it's the same coin, right? Blessing and a burden. Such a blessing to be spoiled and loved and be the most favorite, you know, among the siblings by your mom. I'm a mama's boy again. But also, it came to a point that my mom, my own mother, became a burden to me. Probably because of the pressures of probably continuing her legacy. She really grew OLPMC from one classroom. You know, guys, you know that for a fact, right? The first classroom was in our garage. Can you believe that? In our garage, in our house, at the corner of Mercury and Malipajo. I still remember that. And she just slowly grew it. One class, added another classroom, bought another house. Then next thing we know, 10 years, 10 years? She picked up this half a hectare property within Pilar Village. Next thing you know, another decade came and had its own building. So can you imagine that, from a one classroom to a full-fledged educational facility? That was a lot, you know, that was a lot to follow. I mean, and my mom being she's one of the hardcore hard knocks entrepreneurs, right? You know, growing something, just an idea, to something really great. That's a hard act to follow. So when I was succeeding her as the leader of the OLPMC community, it was really a challenge, you know. Even though I felt that I was competent enough or confident, you know, to figure things out. She was one of those voices, believe it or not, that would challenge me. But I think she was challenging me in her own way. You know, she just wanted to make sure that the school that she started is in good hands, because God knows I'm a quitter. Probably she's afraid of that. She knows me inside and out. You know, when I start things, I tend not to finish it. Ask my mom, ask my wife, ask my physical trainer, ask my nutritionist. I don't finish it. I start strong, but I fizzle out, right? So that's really it. I think it's not just about raising your confidence, it's not just about confidence or raising your competence. It's really about consistency too, right? You have to keep on growing your capability in doing things right. You always have to believe in yourself, even when others don't, even if you're not believing in yourself, right? So it's really that consistency that's very important in growing your vitamin competence. In the spirit of, you know, reaping what you're sowing, you have to do it day in and day out.
Maybe on my part, we have this member, and actually they would always ask the teachers why, how, and everything else that they can ask under the sun. But again, I believe, Sir Orange, in what you have said, that consistency is also the key. So we have been talking to them every consultation, and believe it or not, they were happy that their concerns are being addressed. Whatever that may it be very petty or trivial, but I can see and I have learned that they only want connection from us, and they only want to make sure that their children are in good hands.
Yeah, most of the time it's usually a person just wants to be heard. And so sometimes you just have to wear that hat of the listening ear, and, you know, they're bouncing off their ideas or their concerns to you, thinking that they'll hear the answer they want. Some of them, unfortunately, have selective hearing.
Yes, they do.
Everyone does. Everyone has selective hearing.
Exactly. But again, you know, just like what you said, it's all about being consistent, and you just keep on saying yes. It's like the kid asking, do I really have to do this? And what do you say back? You're going to keep on asking the same question, and the answer will still be the same. Yes.
I like what Peach mentioned about listening. A lot of people still need to develop that. It's a skill set, the listening, and you can resolve a lot of problems just by enhancing that, like what Orange is saying, growing into that competence. So it all starts with unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know, basically, right? I forgot what book that was. And then you go on, once you know what you didn't know, then you go on to the next level, conscious incompetence. You're still incompetent, but at least now you know what you need to work on, right? And then the conscious competence, now you know what you need to work on and you're working on it, right? Developing it until you become intuitive, it becomes natural, which now you go to the highest level of unconscious competence. What book was that from, Range?
There's no particular book in mind, but I know for a fact it comes from NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's part of meta coaching. It's called the meta model, reflexivity or plasticity. So it's very important to learn, like even as a child, right? As a teacher, as an educator, you guys know that you have to be able to, it's about competence building or skill building, right? They say that practice does not really necessarily make perfect, but it becomes permanent. So what you're seeing is the more you do it, the more it builds into your brain memory, into your brain muscles. It becomes your muscle memory. Apps as a health coach, she knows that for a fact. Eventually you just become competent unconsciously about it, right? So there are different stages. You may not know something today, but once you build it, you program it into your mind, into your body. It becomes permanent. It becomes part of who you are. It builds your muscle. It builds more neurons in your brain, and it becomes unconsciously competent. Yep. It becomes a habit, like what we did. Yeah, like what we talked about.
Neuroplasticity proved the statement wrong. The statement that we say you can't teach old dogs new tricks. It actually proved it wrong, because even as adults, our brains can still develop based on what we do and what we say.
Right, but when you were talking about the unconscious to conscious competence, sounds like marriage to me. First it's unconscious.
It sounds like my diet. At first I was conscious about my diet. Now I'm unconscious about it. Yeah. So there you guys have it. We've talked a lot of stuff about the law of the harvest, about increasing your competence. It's about confidence. It's about consistency. We even touched on being from consciously being incompetent to becoming unconsciously competent in a lot of things by building our skills day in and day out. And that's really what about competence is, right? You may not know it today, but believe in yourself that you have the ability to figure things out so you could start doing things the right way. Failures become failures when you stop learning from it, because we make mistakes every day. A mistake becomes a failure when you don't learn from it, right? So there's nothing wrong in making mistakes as long as you learn from it, because from that mistake you become better, you become more competent, you become more confident, you become more consistent in improving your life in each area of your life. Okay, so before I let you guys go, I just want to be able to invite my sisters and our beautiful guests today just to share their closing remarks or closing insights, so to help me close our show for today.
So what I learned in our discussion today, even if no one believes in you, you need to believe in yourself. And nothing will work if, of course, you believe in yourself. And that's it.
For me, the first thing that you have to do is to accept your flaws. Okay, that's the first thing that you have to do, because if you cannot accept your flaws, you will never believe in yourself. Once you do accept your flaws, you're ready to go. That's it.
I couldn't agree more with Teacher Marge. I think it's all about awareness. When you start with awareness, then you would be on the right track into sowing the right things, the right habits, the right thoughts that would push you into your harvest time.
Hey, thanks for joining us. And let me end with a quote about competence that I read today. It's pretty cute. It says, competence, like truth and beauty and contact lenses, is in the eye of the beholder. Because really, nobody knows you're competent except you. That's the beauty of humankind. Every person has their own intelligence. Every person has their own kind of gift and talent. Each of you here will have a different kind of competence that I won't have. And so we all have competence in our own level, in our own way. And if another person tells you otherwise, then you accept that. You just say, yep, you can say that you're competent in one form or the other, but I can also say that I know more things that you probably don't. And again, it's like your contact lenses. It's in the eye of the beholder.
My parting words is that when it comes to competence, you are your biggest fan, and at the same time, you are your biggest competitor. Because you can't really compare yourself to anybody. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to be the fun friend that you would want to hang out with? Do you want to be the good friend or the good person that you want to be around with all the time, or that you confide with? Or what would it take for you to be the awesome teacher that every student would want to remember for the rest of their lives? Or what would it take for you to be that teacher or a community member that they would remember, that they connect well so much? You are meant to evolve. You have unlimited potential. It's just a matter of keeping in mind that there's always something that we can work on to develop a skill, whether personally or professionally. So be your biggest fan, and you are your biggest competitor. So be you.
There you guys have it. I'm so blessed by being surrounded by smart and beautiful women around me. Women rule the world. Okay, so please subscribe to our channel, clicking the subscribe button below if you're still with us. Thank you very much. Or follow us through our Facebook page or through our Instagram page. Thank you very much for joining us today at Fruitful Fridays at OLPMC. God bless you guys. Goodbye. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.